Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Manchester United travel to White Hart Lane on Sunday. It's another top six preview. We're getting close to the end of the season. These top six previews that we've been doing now all season are coming to a close. The top four races on. Spurs' season is still alive. Their season is still alive, regardless of all the Jose outers, Jose inners, Daniel Levy this, Daniel Levy that, will Kane stay, will Kane go? For all that aside, Gareth Bale's comments, the season is still alive for Tottenham. They can still make the top four. It's conceivable. Manchester United are going to look to try and put that to bed this weekend. I think it's going to be a mammoth game. Man United fans seem to be getting angrier and angrier every time they win or get closer to the top four and closer to a final. It's a very strange dynamic we have right now. We've got a brilliant panel for tonight's show. There's a bit of Spurs. There's a bit of Man United. Of course, it's the Football Terrace, the originals when it comes to rival content. We've got Chelsea fan and Arsenal fan in the mix as well. We didn't reveal it in the in the tweet. Bit of a surprise for you coming up. Man like Monsieur here says, can Man United get their revenge? Can Ollie get Jose the sack? These are definitely subject matters we're going to be delving into today. But let's get the panel introduced first of all. My brother from another mother, it's man like KJ in the house. Fresh looking trim. I heard he done it himself. Well, that's the rumor that we're going to stick with anyway. We've also here got one of my best friends on social media, but he is the most deluded football fan I've ever met in my life. It's man Lucky Gal in the house doing his thing, looking fresh. Now, the other rival in the house today. He spent a lot of time on the Football Terrace recently. It's almost like he's a squatter. I think we've got to make it a full-time thing. It's man like Daniel in the house with the Chelsea badge going on as well. And from a Tottenham point of view, it's not Alex. It's not Eleanor. It's brand new member to that Tottenham show. It's Alan in the house. Look, I'm so jealous of that haircut. Look at my hairline. Look at his hairline. Look at my hairline. Look at his hairline. Mine is terrible. I'm putting my hat on in a few minutes because I'm already feeling vulnerable. I truly, truly am. Welcome, one and all. How you doing?
Kicking it. Let's get it.
I'm actually getting nervous, but my hairline compared to Alan's is a madness, bro. But there we go. Big game this weekend, Alan. How you feeling about it, mate?
Not good, to be honest. The way we've been performing the last couple of weeks, trying to be optimistic. I'm trying to find ways to say that we're going to get something out of the game, but I just don't see it. I really don't. That's all I can say, really.
You don't, even with Man United, our dead football, our PE teacher coach, Rashford's got no ankles. Come on.
Well, we dead football too. I think the only way we're going to get anything from this game is Jose masterclass, sit behind the ball and counter. If he tries to attack or he tries to go at it like we have in recent weeks, we're going to get torn apart. So I hope he sticks everyone behind the ball and counters this game.
I hear you on that one. From your point of view, KJ, revenge. They slapped us in the reverse fixture. It was at 6-1. Martial was sent off. And what made it even more painful is the fact that we went 1-0 up in that game. The history books may not remember that. Is this just for you as a fan, is this a revenge match or just about getting 3 points and getting closer to securing Champions League football?
Yeah, no, on this revenge story, we've seen Jose here at United. I mean, at Spurs for like a season and a half now. The result is the result at the end of the day. We weren't good enough on the day. Right now, we just need to focus on our thing and our place in the top four, which is second right now. But there's still 9 points gap from fifth. So we need to keep extending those gaps from everyone else. So revenge story, yeah, wherever. But if you get lost in that, the players can go lose focus, lose their heads, and we can get smashed 6-1 again because someone gets sent off. So focus on the matter at hand. We need 3 points to secure top four, and that's all we should be focused on. The revenge thing, that will come afterwards when you win. Just focus on winning.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Daniel, from your point of view, if you're being a Chelsea fan, well, that basically means Sunday afternoon you're a Man United fan, right? You're on mute, bro.
You're still on mute.
Still can't hear you.
Is there a mute button?
Can't hear me now.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant. Yeah, I don't know who's trying to mute me here, but yeah, I'm supporting United on the weekend, man. Have to be. Like at the end of the day, I mean, there's Chelsea fans saying they're still looking for second place. I'm not. I don't care about that. It's just about getting the top four, securing that top four, and just hoping that the teams around us continue to drop points. Really, the revenge thing as well. I agree with KJ. I even predict it's not even going to be a great game. Like when you hype something up so much, you think it's going to be like the same amount of goals it was last time. Nah, it's not going to be like that. I think United go into the game with the pressure though, because at the end of the day, Tottenham haven't been great recently. When I think about big games, I think the last big game Tottenham won was like against Arsenal, and that was like back in early December. Like they faced Leicester in that time, they faced Chelsea, they faced Arsenal, and they haven't won these games. So United definitely go into that game with the pressure. I do think United have secured top four, so there could be a bit of laziness from the players there. I don't know. You just never know really with these things. But I think United have to be going into that game thinking that they can win because Tottenham are not in the form like that they want to be in. But look, Jose Mourinho is always there and thereabouts. And for all the craziness in terms of the season that they've had and the terrible season that they've had, Tottenham are still in with the shout of getting top four. And the funny thing is they're actually in a better position this season than they were last season. So whether you call that progress, I'll leave that to the Tottenham fans.
Yeah, we will definitely get onto that a little bit later. It's a really good point you raise here. We've got a few super chats to jump into here. The first one, I might have lost it now. It's from there it is. It says, "Hey Terry, Man United fan, love what you're doing, my G. How much investment do you think is needed to get us back to challenging in 3? And do you think we have the revenue streams to make it happen?" Do you know what? In terms of investment, we're there or thereabouts. We already have the investment. We've already spent the kind of money that's required to make Man United title contenders. But it's about there being a plan of action, a philosophy, and a club ethos that's designed with the end result is for us to be the best football team on the planet. Currently, that isn't it. It's to try and make it into the top 4 and to try and capitalize on on the commercial elements that come with that. That's of paramount importance. It's buying the right players in the right positions, filling the holes that are needed in the squad, and then bringing in the right manager. And I've said all along, we've got a hole up front on the right, CDM, centre back, and cover at right back. Those are 4 or 5 areas that need addressing at Manchester United, regardless of who our coach is, barring Pep or Klopp, we're never going to get. It's those areas need to be addressed regardless of Ollie being here or not. So for me, we're still a way off. It's about the club being run properly. In terms of revenues and finances to do it, absolutely exists in that way. Jack here says, if Ollie beats Jose on Sunday, do you think Jose will get the sack? That's a good question. Actually, great segue to what was the first thing I was going to ask Igal, really. How much pressure do you think is on Jose Mourinho to win this weekend?
I feel like there's a lot of pressure on him, especially with the fact that they're going to have 2 games back to back next week. So they're not going to have as many. They're not going to have as much time off, and the real test is they haven't been good these big games because they've been flat track bullies this whole season. They've been bullying the small teams, and then when they face the big teams, they struggle. They score 4 past Burnley, they score 4 past all these other teams. But when it comes to the likes of Everton, when it comes to the likes of Arsenal, when it comes to the likes of all these other teams, they don't score a lot of goals. Yes, they beat us by 2 goals. Yes, they beat Manchester United by a lot of goals, but these things happen in a flash in the pan. So Jose Mourinho's under a lot of pressure, just like every top manager in the league is when they start losing games and they get knocked out of the Europa League and their season starts to crumble.
Absolutely. Alan, to Dan's point, do you feel as a Tottenham fan there has been progression this season based on the fact that you're in a better league position this season than you were this time last year? Does that amount to progression in your opinion as a fan?
I'd like to first thank Igal for admitting that Arsenal are a small club by saying that Spurs have only beat small teams and we beat them 2-0. So thanks for that. And then going on to David's point, league position, league-wise, because yes, on the face of it, it looks like progression, but I think all the teams around going for that top 4 have been just as bad as each other. So if you look point tally-wise, all the teams are below where they were last season. Style of football, no. So on the face of it, it looks good that we're there or thereabouts, or we're higher up than we were last season and closer. But it's like just on the face of it, everything else, I can't take many positives from it apart from that we're in a cup final. So I don't think it's progression. For me, it's not progression.
How about yourself, KJ? Are you more fearful of this Jose Mourinho Tottenham sort of a year to getting towards 18 months in, or would you rather play them compared to sort of a peak Poch side?
I'm going to be honest. I don't enjoy playing Spurs. I just haven't for the last how many years. We don't have a great record against them, so I don't really care who the manager is when it comes to Spurs. It's not enjoyable for me. There's something about the game that always just doesn't go in our favor. The last notable win I can think about is the one where Oli first came in and we beat them 1-0 because that one ball over the top from Pogba to Rashford. Other than that, I don't really think we've beaten. Actually, no, we beat Spurs last season as well. But yeah, it's just a game I don't enjoy. What would I rather face? I would rather face a Jose side than a Poch side. Definitely, because Poch sides were better, but there's something about this game that I just don't like, and I don't like the feeling of. And yeah, couldn't care less who's the manager. I just want to win.
I hear you on that. I think for me, I don't see Spurs haven't progressed at all. With all due respect, the league position you could argue, but there is divide in that dressing room. There's divide at board level. You can feel it. The fans are fuming. And even though even the people defending Jose, I don't really see as defending Jose. It's just, yeah, okay, well, Jose's not the problem. It's the club. There seems, considering that just under 2 years ago, you made it to your first ever Champions League final. I don't think anybody would have expected 2 years later you to be in this situation where you've got Jose Mourinho stinking the place out with his football. You've got Harry Kane thinking of leaving. Dele Alli is a shadow of his former self, as an example. Like, just the regression in that 2 year period, I think is huge, really. You know, considering where you were. So I don't think there's been progression enough. I don't think the experiment with Jose Mourinho has worked either. The experiment was well, say it hasn't worked. You might win the Carabao Cup, and then you could spin it to where he came to win trophies, and he's done something which Pochettino couldn't. But in terms of playing you, I'm really confident going into this game, regardless of how bad is perceived Man United play. Spurs are absolutely awful at the moment. It will be an embarrassment for me as a Man United fan to not be able to beat you, considering that you've been conceding late goals. You don't get together as a team. For me, Man United should be winning this game, not even based on the lack of progression under Tottenham. It's just the current situation and form that you're in, the mood at the football club. This is where you would expect a big team like Man United to be able to go in there and capitalize. My fear is, though, that we have a habit of not doing that. We have an absolute habit, and a horrible habit at that, of freezing in these exact moments and sort of giving Jose a new lease of life.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm expecting to happen, to be honest. I do not see us beating Spurs. Like Spurs fans are saying they don't see us beating the Man United. So with that, from logic, a draw is on the cards. I think a draw is on the cards. Man United's performances haven't matched the results, which is the unfortunate thing. We've had some very good results recently, but you can question how well we performed. Spurs they're not looking great at all. Making Newcastle look sick is it's not good. You know what I mean? It's embarrassing. But in these moments, Oli, the players, the club, they love a bottle job. You know what I mean? They love to bottle these moments. And I've said I want to see Man United get 75 points this season. We've got 8 games left. That means 5 wins essentially from here. And that means you can drop points in 3 games. This is one of the games where I expect to drop points. So I'm not going to be vexed that we lose, but I don't see us winning, personally.
Do you know what, yeah? Just as a little, it's a little bit of a segue off the game per se, but it's more about Tottenham and just how I just personally think there's a little bit of a sense of entitlement in the way the season has gone, in my opinion, about the Tottenham fans. One thing that I've always pointed out, and I don't know if you agree with me, but one thing I pointed out was that Pochettino last year said something in his pre-match presser for the Champions League final that just gets overlooked. Like, I think he joked about saying that he'd leave the club if they won the Champions League, because it kind of like, oh, I've literally done everything that I could do with this team and with the squad and whatnot. And he basically said that there needs to be a huge turnover with this squad. He said that he needed the investment. He said that he needed the players. He said that there were a lot of things that needed to change because he was basically getting the best out of a squad that really and truly overachieved. Let's not lie. That Tottenham team that he had overachieved with the high finishes he was getting and whatnot. And then obviously he gets sacked because they weren't getting the results and things weren't happening. And then you bring in Mourinho, Daniel Levy. It's almost like a Hail Mary in terms of, let's just try and get that one trophy we should have got under Pochettino with a winner like Mourinho, and let's see if it can happen. And then if it doesn't happen, then everything's gone to shit, basically. So my thing about it all is that, what did you really expect? Yeah, I know you signed 6 players, Doherty and all these guys there, but what did you really expect with the squad? And then on top of that, with the manager that you brought in? Because I said, look, when Tottenham were on top and playing well, I said the football that you're playing isn't great. And if the Tottenham fans were in the stadium, it's one of the things where when you start losing, there will be complaints. I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, in December when they played Liverpool, that was being billed as the fight for the title game, title decider. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, when I look at things like that, I just think now as a whole, and you look at the way the season's gone, you're still in competition for top 4, still in competition for 1 trophy. What did you expect from the season? I believe your name's Alan, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. What did you kind of expect from the season?
I expected us to be there or thereabouts, challenging for top 4. That's honestly with the squad that the players we've got in, and hopefully challenging for a title, like a trophy. But that's what I expected on the first basis. Obviously, it was a false hope with the top of the table, and then since then, like I've said, with everything that's dropped off massively since, I'm still hoping that we can get a trophy and top 4. I don't see it happening though, just because of how bad we are, a shape we're in.
You want me to say something? I'm gonna say something actually. I'm sick and tired of this. You guys, both of you guys, Terry, KJ, you guys are having a good season based on expectations. After the transfer window ended, you guys are having a good season based on your expectations in the league. You did not expect to be second. You did not expect to have to be this clear for the Champions League positions at this point of the season. You did not expect to be solidified as a top 4 team this season, even though you guys knew you made it last year. The Champions League getting knocked out was a letdown, but I feel like you guys are letting that mask over the actual situation that Ollie and the team has gotten you guys in. And Alan, if Jose Mourinho wins you guys the what is it called? The League Cup? Yeah, the League Cup, that thing. If he wins you guys that trophy, you know what's gonna happen? This is gonna be the best season in your whole career, your whole lifetime as a Spurs fan. So both of you guys are acting like this is your worst season ever, when in reality it's not. Because both of you guys still have an opportunity to save your season.
Where did I say this has been a terrible season?
No. But you guys are acting
no. But I said
like this is horrendous.
No, I said. Oh my gosh, you don't listen, do you? You hear what you want to hear. I said we've had good results, but our performances recently haven't been filling me with confidence.
How's that? Recently, you guys beat Man City. You guys won yesterday. Yeah. Yes, it was poor.
That was the Man City performance was good, but Man City's performance was good. But the Brighton
results,
performance
that's all that matters.
Yeah. But again, you're not listening to what you're clearly not listening to what I'm saying. Okay, you take it.
Yeah, listen. I kind of understand where you're coming from. Compared to, I mean, you would give your left arm as a football club. Like I get that. So we have to. And it's interesting. 2 of my brothers support Leyton Orient, and sometimes they hear me moan about the state of my football club, and they give me these dirty looks, like. They're like, you're successful. You're Manchester United. You're in and around. So to a Leyton Orient fan, we're really successful, right? So to Arsenal, Man United have had an amazing season. But to Manchester, yeah, okay, I predicted we'd finish outside the top 4. I think I actually predicted we'd finish 7th after that transfer window. We've been better than I thought we would be, but it still doesn't make me satisfied as a Manchester United fan. And I'm sure that kind of echoes what Alan is saying. And with Man United, there are just areas that we could have addressed in recent years that could put us into a better position as an example. So I'm not saying I think Man United have had a good season this year. If we win a trophy and finish second, then I think it's been a successful season. It hasn't been an amazing or a brilliant season. That would represent, there's been progression in the league this year for Manchester United. That is a cast iron fact. Some people are not happy with the style of football, but listen, we could be the same people unhappy with the style of football at Man United. We could swap managers. They could be entertained, but we could be sitting in third place with 5 less points. Those fans would be happy. Oh, we're sitting in the Champions League though, and the football's better. And there'll be a new group of unhappy fans that are like, yeah, but I'd rather the football be more boring, but we're more secure in the top 4. You're always going to get that argument until you find utopia, which is the best football.
Man City.
Like it's Man City. And the thing is, that's rare. It's generally only one team does that, and they don't maintain it for that long normally. So you're never going to make everybody happy. We've had a good season.
Look at your last performances, Terry. Look at your your most recent performances have been quite good, wouldn't you say, for Manchester United?
No.
Maybe not the performance, but the results have been coming in.
Yes,
even though the performances have not been good. And to me, that shows that you guys have something about you, because I spoke to Johnny recently, and he's still angry, obviously, but you guys are not that angry. But I feel like the whole fan base, even if you're not angry, you have this underlining unsatisfied feeling. You're not going to win the league this year. You weren't expected to. You're not going to win the Champions League. You weren't expected to. You weren't going to win a double. You weren't expected to. So when this whole thing comes back,
let me just say on that though, that my underlying annoyance, it isn't with Ollie. It isn't the fact that we shouldn't be starting Dan James against low block teams. It isn't that Scott McTominay is not a good enough passer. Those things frustrate me in isolation in small games. My frustration is that we should have a monopoly in this league over everybody other than Chelsea and Manchester City because of the income and the finances we have as a football club. My frustrations are we're not run well enough to capitalize upon that. So when I see us going out in a semi-final, when I see us 15 points or so behind City, yes, key stage 1 level, it's Ollie, it's a lack of quality in the squad. But at the root cause, I know what the main issue is. And the annoyance comes from the fact that no matter how much I shout about it, it ain't changing.
And there's an underlying, and for me, it's just we could be run better. We could have done more, and what we're doing now, yes, for what we expected is not what we expected. It's a good thing that we're second. It's a good thing that we're so clear from the top and from the other 5 below us, and it's a good thing that we're still in the Europa League and we're looking to win that. But that's not enough for me as a United fan to be like jumping for joy and being like there's complete progress. For me, Ollie as a manager is progressing slowly. Not quickly, slowly. Some of the players are progressing. Marcus Rashford has progressed well. Bruno is progressing. You got all these things going on, but as a club, we are not going anywhere soon because of the way that the club is run. That's my biggest annoyance.
Can I just quickly tweak as well a little bit of what Igal was saying? Like, I do agree to an extent in terms of, like, one thing that I always do, and I've even got a piece coming out on it, yeah. In my opinion, I just think for every balanced fan, there are 3 deluded fans. So once you meet a balanced fan, you meet 3 deluded fans, and it carries on in that kind of cycle. And if you meet, like, if you think about the Man United fans that you come across on the Twitter, on the TO and everything, that key stage 1 level that you're talking about as a balanced fan, people think that as soon as you bring in a better manager, it's going to change. And the thing that I say to that, and me and Danny spoke in depth about it, is that you now bring in a better manager. It's the psyche of a fan. You bring in an Antonio Conte or an Allegri or whatever. You bring in someone that the fans, by consensus, they enjoy. And the same goes for Tottenham as well. There's going to be a change in the way people think, and they're going to accept more things that they weren't willing to accept under the manager who they thought couldn't win. So being Oli, being Mourinho. I think if Pochettino was in the same situation Mourinho is in right now, I honestly, with the guys that I've spoken to, the Tottenham fans I've spoken to, I honestly believe there will be more attention paid to the fact that Daniel Levy hasn't provided a squad for Pochettino to be successful, rather than Pochettino being a bad manager, not getting the results he wanted. The same goes for Man United. I honestly believe, wholeheartedly believe, if another manager comes in, they're going to be more accepting, more willing, especially if he doesn't win anything. It's going to be more like painted on the Glazers. Oh, he needed to be backed. He didn't get the right resources, and that's
and that is why I want Oli gone. If I had a reason, like one reason why I want Oli to go, is so that people can stop focusing on him and we can go to the Glazers. That's all I care about. Those are the man them, and I'm annoyed about, and forever will be.
And Terry, just before we go back to the game, I don't want Alan to get off scot-free either, because we're not just talking about Manchester United here. Alan, what did you expect at the beginning of the season? Because I never expected you guys to win the League Cup. I didn't expect you guys to even be in the final for that. So big up for that, right? And if you guys do win it, I actually will come on here and give you guys credit, and I'll take all the flowers from you guys, because you guys are going to be doing it. But if you guys lose, I said it from the beginning of the season, you guys weren't going to win the League Cup. I said you weren't going to win the FA Cup. I said you weren't going to win the Europa League. And your expectations at this club is too high, because where did you get this expectation from? You never won anything. You've never been at the top of the top. Yes, you got to a Champions League final, and Pochettino built you from the ground up. But to me, the expectations for Tottenham is a little bit too high. And where you guys got this clout and this whole top 6 thing, the media made that. You guys don't actually deserve that. Leicester deserves it more than you guys.
Yeah, by the way, sorry, but so by that logic, you can't make fun of Spurs.
No, but we actually, even though we are
I'm not talking about Arsenal. I'm not talking because you're an Arsenal fan. You're saying to Alan that you guys don't deserve to be in the position that you are. You don't deserve to be being talked about winning trophies and doing great things. So that the fact that they've reached a Carabao Cup final, and if they lose it, you can't mock that because you didn't expect it yourself.
No, I can't. But if they do lose
it,
I was right.
But you will.
I was right in the sense that they weren't going to win a trophy.
Alan, answer that question for us, bro. Let's go.
Okay, so I believe it's David. He asked me the question a little while ago, and I said I expected us to be
Daniel.
Sorry, Daniel. I expected to be challenging for top 4 and maybe challenging for a trophy, which I always say for Spurs every season, because we've got a decent enough squad to do that. I never once said we deserve to win anything. We don't, and I don't see us challenging for a title, the Premier League, for like we did a couple of years ago under Poch. But I can understand why you're getting a bit annoyed there, Gal, because you're saying about Spurs and Man United getting, worked up over their bad seasons. But you would do anything to be at least 6th or 7th where Spurs are at the moment. So I understand why you're getting a bit disheartened there. It's fine.
Hey,
do you know what
I would gladly say I would switch spots with you guys. Easy.
Of course you would. But to end this part and go back to the game.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I get why Spurs fans feel angry is the same reason I felt angry when Jose was at my club. It's his toxicity, it's his behaviour, it's the way he's throwing play. It's not just the bad football; it's everything else that comes with it. At Man United, my frustration isn't massive, Ollie, because I know it doesn't matter who else comes in, we're still going to be in this situation. So I feel like I'm on the long and winding, never-ending road. It's just, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I might have a good day where I don't get as many blisters on my feet, but I still got to keep walking, bruv. Like, it's a madness. In terms of the game, though, I'm going to go to KJ first on this. In terms of Man United's team news that's come out today, Martial's out. Phil Jones is out injured, but he wouldn't play anyway. There's still a question mark over Bailly because, of course, he tested positive. But it's a very full squad for Manchester United. We're 2-0 up against Granada. Should there be the strongest team possible played in this game, or would you still like to see some rotation and some players rested regardless?
No, it's full strength team. Full strength team. We need, I know people, yes, we're second. We got 60 points, and the gap between us is 9. But there's still 8 games left. 9 points can be caught up if you go and get a bad run of form towards the end of the season. So let's not pretend that we are mathematically secure and doesn't matter no more. It still does. Get us the win. Get us the 3 points. Get us the lead. And win in the game if we're in a place where we're in control. Man United in control of the games, I know. But if we're in a place where we can control the game, then some of the key players for Granada, and then potentially rest players for Granada and move on. This whole thing of swap the players out like Spurs are some nothing team. For me, it would be a foolish move from Ollie. Get the 3 points, secure your top 4 place until it's mathematically impossible for United to drop out. We need to take every game seriously, and Europa League right now comes second, especially when you've got a good 2-0 lead with 2 away goals going to your gaff on Thursday. You take this game seriously. Don't make any changes.
Are you nervous about not making top 4, United fans?
Most United fans aren't. Most of United fans are angry that we're making top four because Ollie, the guy's doing it. But no, for me, it's like I don't want complacency to kick in to this squad and these players because we've seen it happen before. We've seen it decide in the middle of this season. They got to the top of the table and then just dropped off real quick because they you could tell that they thought they was making it already. I want our team to be focused, be serious, be ready to take advantage of any slip up any other team is making during this period. And this means that we have to beat Spurs because that will be a slip up for them. We have to also
willing to risk Rashford?
Slip-ups.
Are you willing to risk Rashford in this game? Risk all your best players in this game?
Because Rashford was
Yes.
looking tired.
Yeah, Rashford's looking very tired. I would say no. Rest him if we had Martial fit. But because we don't, because our other options are Dan James and Amad Diallo, it's looking very peak. We need to do what he did yesterday. Secure it, do his part, get the goal, come off, let the rest of the team do what he needs to do. Because right now, if we played Dan James and left them and Amad on the right, and we get battered or things don't go right, that is not a good development point for Diallo, especially.
The thing on Rashford is very simple. He is Manchester United's best forward. There is no debating it. There's no arguing it anymore. What he's achieved this season, first player in 11 years to score 20-plus goals in consecutive seasons. The last guy to do it was Wayne Rooney. Before him, Ronaldo. Before him, 20 years ago, Ruud van Nistelrooy did it. So it's literally 4 players in 20 years and only 6 players in 30 years have achieved that for Manchester United. It's an astronomical achievement considering he's playing with no system, no really good, an abundance of lack of quality from his teammates and a PE teacher as his manager. Like it's amazing what he's done. He has to play. I understand the argument, risking his career, risking X, risking Y, risking Z. By the way, if Poch was our manager, if Pep was our manager, they would be and they had this squad and they had Rashford and there was no other alternative. Martial's out anyway. And even if he was this season, the guy's got a 4% conversion rate. They would be forcing. They would be pushing rather than forcing Rashford to start. So the risk is going to have to be taken. But it's one of our last remaining hard games. And it's almost a 6-pointer in terms of the top 4 race because you can almost, in terms of ourselves, we can take ourselves so far away from Tottenham with that win. It almost takes them away from being able to catch us as an example. Who knows what else? Mandem FC might do us a favor tomorrow evening and take some more points away from Chelsea as an example. I think who are Spurs? Who are Liverpool playing? They've got Villa. I mean, that's a tough game for them. Leicester are playing West Ham. That could be a tough game. So all the teams in that top 4 race have got difficult games this weekend. So we need to focus and secure it. Rashford's going to be needed. And then that's why I was so happy we got that second goal last night through Fernandes because it meant that we can rest Rashford, we can rest Bruno, and then we've got 2 or 3 players suspended for that game that might end up being a blessing in disguise because it's going to force Ole Gunnar Solskjaer into not making those changes. But we need our strongest team out there. No rest for the wicked in terms of this game. Get it done. It'll give us a 9-point cushion minimum with 7 games to go, and that puts us into such a commanding position. There's a super chat here from Gav that says United until we Man United spend as much and spend as wisely as. I'm my brain ain't working. Spend as wisely and our
grade as well as our top rivals. We won't challenge.
Okay,
we already have an inferior manager.
I get that. It was the as wisely as, and then there was nothing there. It should be a City, maybe. Okay. I hear what you say. You're right. You're absolutely right. It doesn't matter how good the manager is. You still need to operate well. We've seen there's loads of big clubs in the world that have had great managers and not operated correctly, and they've failed. It's just having a good manager is only part of the issue. Man United had good managers in the era before Fergie came in, but they just run poorly as a football club. There's no doubt about it. Alan, from your point of view, when you look at Spurs, again, you don't have too many injuries. Doherty and Ben Davis are reported as out here on who scored. Toby and Serge Aurier are doubtful. Maybe they've been confirmed as fit in press conferences today. Who would you go with? What combination of attackers would you go with for this game? Because you've got a plethora.
I've slated Mourinho for his tactics and being too pragmatic, even against smaller teams. I have said on occasion, this is where you have to be like in big games. Sometimes you have to do this, especially where we're playing. So I would sit all 10 or 11 behind the ball. I would go back to the team that was playing so well in the early part of the season. I'd have Kane, Son, and Mora, and I would have actually I wouldn't go Bow. I'd have Mora on the other side, and I'd have Lo Celso or Lamela behind for a quick breakaway, because that's the way I see us winning this game. So I would keep the front attack. The defense is the main part for me, which is the problem. I think considering what happened last time with Toby, I think he's just making more of it Mourinho. I think Toby is fine to play. I would stick him with Rodon. I don't want Sanchez or Dyer anywhere near that defence. And then Tanganga I'd stick at right back. That would be... Regney's the only left back we've got, so I'd keep him over there, and that would be my lineup for the game.
So I look at that, and I know Rashford ain't fit, but I look at Rashford up against Tanganga and just think you could have him on, because he's not the most mobile of what I've seen.
Yeah, but Mora,
but he's still a very good defender.
Yeah, Mora would drop back and help, and you've also got Højbjerg. The reason why we got exposed against Arsenal was because Bale didn't track back, which means Højbjerg and Dembele were out of position a lot of the time, and that's how they could swamp us and be camped outside our box. But I think Mora will track back and help out, so I don't think that's as much of an issue as it would be like it was against Arsenal.
That's an interesting one. When you look at Man United, Alan, who are the danger men that you're fearful of?
Bruno Fernandes, for me, world-class player. I wanted him at Spurs. I'm absolutely devastated we didn't get him. Rashford, quality finisher of the ball. They're the two standout ones. Pogba, for me, obviously world-class as well. He's always been world-class. He can cause us many problems. He has done previously before. They're the three main ones that I'm wary of for Man United. So as long as we can keep some of them quiet, you may fare well.
From your point of view, AJ, you look at that Pogba's names come up there. Pogba and Ndombele. That should be an almighty battle.
Yeah, it should. And realistically, Pogba should win because he's a better player. like, I'm not going to sit here and try and make out like there's any kind of any. They're not close. They may be similar in terms of the way that they can play, but Pogba's just a better player than Ndombele. And Pogba really should be winning that battle, really and truly. And Ndombele, I think, is quicker than him, but that's about it. That maybe a better dribbler in tight spaces, and that is about it. Pogba is the better one and should win the battle. Daniel's smiling because he probably thinks that Ndombele is this thing that it just takes away poor Pogba, and Pogba is nothing.
I want Alan to respond. I don't want to respond to that, innit?
But it's what it is. Let's not lie here. Like it's just what it is. What it is.
You know what I hear? You guys are trying to compare the midfield, but to me, that is the only one that you can actually compare, because defensively, you guys have a much better defense. Attacking-wise, they have a much better attack. The midfield is the only place you can compare. But then when you look at that attacking midfield role, you guys have Bruno, which sets you over the edge. So no matter what, I feel like Manchester United have a better team because of the midfield and defense. Tottenham's biggest weakness is their defense. And you know what? As much as people want to make fun of Harry Maguire, if Tottenham fans were told tomorrow you could have Harry Maguire there, bite their hand off.
Would you, Alan?
I would take Maguire. It's an improvement on what we've got. So I would take Maguire, to be fair.
That's fair. I mean, I look at Spurs. Of course, I'm scared of Harry Kane. Harry Kane is one of the elite strikers in the world. Son makes me concerned. If AWB's on point and we don't get ourselves, we played so poorly against you in that home game. It's not even funny. But but when it comes to Son, because he primarily plays on the left, I don't fear anybody on the left, no matter who it is. I don't even think I'd be scared. I would be scared if it was Messi. But we have AWB. So when it comes to, generally speaking, when it comes to a left-sided attacker up against AWB, of course, that left-sided attacker could get the better of him. We've seen him make some mistakes this year. But I don't go into the game fearful about anyone that plays in that position, because I know how good a one-on-one defender Aaron Wan-Bissaka is. Harry Kane scares me because centrally, sometimes Victor Lindelof and Maguire can be brilliant, but there's always that moment in the game, and Harry Kane is so
we
cunning.
need to play everybody. We need to play everybody.
No, don't sell Lindelof short, because Lindelof would be Spurs' best defender also.
No, but
Harry Kane would score loads of goals against Spurs as well. Like, it's not.
Lindelof and Maguire have had great games, but also very, very poor games. Lindelof, as he had a great performance against Granada, because he wasn't up against a physical striker. That's his weakness. Harry Kane will put it on him. And that's where we will see Lindelof's weaknesses.
I'm not gonna lie, Lindelof don't impress me. If you go back to your 3 semi-finals that Oli gets all the blame for, Lindelof single-handedly cost you in each of those games. I just want everyone watching to go back and watch those semi-finals against Chelsea, against Sevilla, and who was the last semi-final?
Man City.
Lindelof is the reason for one goal in each of those games. Just pointed that out.
Bro, do you know what's mad, right? Like Harry Maguire has definitely had some poor games for United. He's definitely had some moments. But I've seen sort of commentary and punditry against Maguire like I have never seen about anybody before. I remember when we lost to Palace, the opening game of this year. I think
this year and last year. Don't matter.
Yeah. That's why I was confused. It was last year's one, but it's carried on since then, where there was a big split between the two centre-backs.
Yeah, I remember that.
But it was acceptable because Lindelof was being challenged in the air by a hobbit, and he got beat to the ball, and it led to, it might have been Ayew or somebody went through and scored. And they tried to put it on Maguire, saying, well, Maguire should have been closer, should have organised, should have anticipated it. And I then started watching games where balls are kicked long and some little striker or inside forwards up against a big centre-back. And the amount of distance between the centre-backs on many occasions, not all, was fairly similar. Sometimes a bit more, sometimes a little bit less from the position the ball was kicked in. And I just thought, yes, you've made that up as professional pundits and as fans, you've thrown that in. And I see so many games where, like, oh, it's Maguire. If he'd have organised better, Lindelof wouldn't have made the mistake. Lindelof would have been 2 yards. It's like, no, Lindelof, you got he has to take.
That is the one thing. That is the one thing that annoys me. Well, one of the things that annoys me about Lindelof, what gets to me. I've had conversations and debates, about Lindelof, and I've heard people say, well, Lindelof's mistakes aren't that bad because he does them early in the game, so we have a chance to get him back. I'm just like, he still made a bloody mistake. You know what I'm saying? He's still mistake prone, and you guys, Lindelof is so protected. I don't get it, man.
But the thing with it is, what's stupid about the argument is we've seen Lindelof not work under 2 different managers with multiple partners. For me, with Maguire, we need a better centre-back regardless. Whether he partners Maguire or Lindelof's irrelevant. But I think if you when Baye's next to Maguire looks better. Why? Because they're both of a much higher level. You know, you suddenly stick, when Gomez was next to Virgil van Dijk, Liverpool's defence looked better than when Nate Phillips was next to him, because it's just what combinations do. Was Rio Ferdinand better with Mikel Silvestre or with Nemanja Vidic? Because it's a better partnership. Do you know what I mean? That's just natural. And I find it very, very strange. But I do worry about Harry Kane, back to the point. I worry about Harry Kane because he could run riot and run rings around those individuals. In terms of the game, though, and predictions looking forward, what's interesting, Spurs' home form this season, 7 wins, 3 draws, 4 defeats, 24 points. Man United's away form, 9 wins, 6 draws, no defeats, 33 points. United have a ridiculously good away record. I think it's a year and 13, 14 months unbeaten away from home domestically or in the league at least. Is that a worry for you, Alan, that Man United tend not to lose away from home?
Of course it is with that type of record. So for me, that's why we've got to try and stop you from coming onto us, especially when we're weak and vulnerable, and then hit you on a counter-attack. For me, one of the big players this game will be Son. He's not been playing well recently. He hasn't scored for some time. He needs to step up and have a big game because Kane can't do it all himself all the time. So if Son can show up and all that, I think, and we play the way that I think Mourinho might play, I reckon we can nick a 2-1. That's as confident as I am at the moment with this first team. So, But for me, the reason why you're so good away from home and is the mentality that Bruno Fernandes sets for you guys, because he seems to always be the person away from home that pushes you forward. So that's why I say he's your biggest asset. That's the biggest threat for me.
Yeah, I get that. The away forms, I know domestically, actually, we lost to Leicester. So domestically, we've been beaten. In the league, it's well over a year since we were beaten away from home, which is just, again, not having fans is probably contributed towards that. But yet people don't want to give us that excuse when it comes to our average home record. They want to, no, you're trash why your home record's bad, but it's because there's no fans that your away records.
Apparently, the only reason why we're good is because there is no fans to get on top of these United players, and then they would crumble underneath the boos and the screeches from the fans. But when it's Liverpool, it's they need the fans, they need the encouragement. So I'm just like, get out of here, fam. The fans being there is the fans being there is the fans being not there. It is what it is.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you on that. Daniel, I'm going to come to you first on this, mate. Who's winning this game? What's your score predictions, bro?
I think United will win. What I would say is, what I would go with is a 2-1 win. I think Harry Kane will possibly score. I do think Bruno will score, like, you know, that myth that he's like, well, not myth, but that like agenda that he doesn't perform against the big teams. I think just needs to get put to bed sooner or later. So Bruno will score in this game, I believe, as well. And possibly, look, Rashford could get the goal. Even Dan James, this is a game Dan James just pop up with a weird goal, like, you know what I'm saying? So, but I do think United will win, just based off the fact that the away record is something that Oli deserves a lot of credit for. Like, I mean, he doesn't get enough credit for that in terms of him as a manager and what he's been able to do. Yes, there are obviously outside factors to why he's so successful, but at the end of the day, he's unbeaten. Like, he's doing well in football matches, and that's all you can ask for. I just think with Tottenham, I just think when the going gets tough, can you trust this team to pull through the mud, like bar Harry Kane? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll go with Man United in this one, 2-1.
Gal?
Obviously, I'm not picking Spurs. You guys know that, right? I'm picking Manchester United. But the reason, I'll give you a logical reason. I feel like Spurs versus Manchester United, it's gonna come down to who can open up the other team. And with Spurs, you have two main guys you can lock into. You guys can get them out. You can try to hold on to Harry Kane and Son, and those are the main guys you have to worry about. If Rashford plays, if Bruno plays, if you have Pogba playing, if you have all these guys playing and fit and firing, Manchester United just have too much quality for Spurs, in my opinion. And also, KJ, you wanted to avoid the whole revenge thing. These guys beat you guys 6-something early in the season. Those players remember that. They care. And I don't know why none of you guys are thinking these guys aren't going to have that in their mind. They're going to know, yo, they beat us 6-something in our house. We're going to have to come to their house. We're going to have to come away with all 3 points for pride. I think Manchester United players are going to show a lot of pride, and they're going to go in there. They're going to come out of there with a 2-0 victory.
The reason why I said the revenge thing, burn it off, is because these whole revenge stories things play on players' minds. Like, it's very easy for them to lose their heads. It's very easy for them to lose focus because they're so focused on revenge. Focus on winning. Focus on playing well, and that revenge will come because you win the game. I don't care for this whole that you need revenge. Listen, beat them, and your revenge will be complete. Don't focus on
man,
it.
I want Drake vibes. I'm looking for revenge.
Yeah, and this is why your team are 10th. And this is
no. I'm saying as a rival, I'd love to see that. That's what I'm saying.
I hear you with that. While you're speaking, KJ, what's your prediction, bro?
1-1. I don't see it being an entertaining game. I don't see it being anything in anyone's favor. I can see us cancel each other out very easily, and maybe some foolishness in both ends of the of the pitch for both goals. Yeah. So it'd be a 1-1 draw. I will take that. I will happily take a 1-1 draw right now. I just literally focus on moving on to the next game. It's business end of the season. Who cares about how we play? Just get it done.
There we go. Alan?
Yeah, I'd go with either the 1-1 draw, or I believe, like, I'm being positive here, to say that we can nick a 2-1 if we counter-attack and try and stop Man United from playing through our defence that sometimes is non-existent. So that's what I reckon.
Yeah, I hear... obviously I want us to slap you after what you did to us. I'm gonna be a bit more bolshy than everybody else. I do want the revenge thing, but I agree with KJ in the sense of let's get the job done first, right? But I want I want to walk away. We're not gonna win 6-1, but I want to walk away 3-0. I want Alex pulling his hair out. I want Eleanor screeching. Do you know what I mean? I want Alan coming on here again, airline looking like mine, bro. Do you know what I mean? I want Spurs fans to be in the mud. Do you know what I want more than that? Do you know what I want even more? This is purely a personal thing now. I took it personally. I want Man United to win, always to win, never, ever want us to lose. I want us to win with a dirty, ugly, nasty, skanky, but I ain't heard that word in years. Skanky 1-0 dirty win. Bruno Fernandes scores with a filthy deflection. Like Toby goes to clear it and it smacks Bruno in his teeth and goes in. Do you know what I mean? The ball even pops as it's going over the line, right? Like proper bad. Just because that will wind up. I love seeing the Ollie Outers angry at the moment. That will wind them up even more because losing, they get to say, see, I told you so. Winning with a bad performance, it's their worst nightmare. So that's what I want to see. Listen, worse than a penalty. I want it to be a fluky goal. I want it to just be like, they're not going to know how to speak. They're not going to know how to speak. The other day, I saw a thread and this guy, I looked at his whole thing, didn't even say well done for winning last night. It was just talking about, it wasn't, he didn't even mention the win. It was like he was tweeting throughout the whole game. We won the game. No, well done, United. Well done, Ollie. Well done, boys. Went straight into. I think Ollie has made Greenwood regress. Here's my thread as to why. That was what he went straight onto. It was he ignored the game, right? And I saw the guy's tweet. I don't even know who the guy. I never see. He's one of. He was like a at United Joseph account, like one of them ones. You know what I mean? Innit? He's probably 62. Like he just pretends he's a kid, weirdo. But like I read it, and I was sort of like. Imagine that's what you've done after you just won 2-0 in the semi-final. I was like, the fan base is in trouble. So that's what I want. That's really, really, really what I want to see happen just because I want to see the anger. I want to see the annoyance. I don't care. It's just, we won though. Yeah, but what? We won. I love it.
You know why it doesn't bother you? You know why it doesn't bother you? Because you're not one of these people who are saying, I'm accepting mediocrity. No, you're actually understanding the situation of your club where a lot of people in today's football, they refuse to accept the situation that they're in, and they want everything to be sunshines and roses and lollipops every single day.
That's a fair point. I put out a question earlier on Twitter, like, at what point do fans accept the position their club are actually in? At what point do they accept that? And is accepting reality, is that really lowering standards? Really, really, really? Is that lowering standards, accepting the reality of your club?
Listen, I'm not lowering my standards of myself because I've accepted that I'm never going to beat Usain Bolt's 100-meter record. What is it? I can't remember the name of the character, but I don't have the facilities for that, big man. Do you know what I mean?
Big Shaq.
Big Shaq.
I haven't big. That's it. I haven't got the facilities for that. Man United are not run well enough, nor do they have the facilities in the minerals to get back to being what you want us to be. So you have to accept. That isn't me accepting mediocrity. It's me accepting that it doesn't matter how much I don't want it. It's there. Like you've got
No,
to.
Crazy.
No, you're accepting mediocrity. You're not being real. You're not being real.
You know what it is?
What's crazy though, KJ and Terry, though, is that I personally believe United do have the facilities. They just don't know how to use them. Do you know what I'm saying?
We had better expression for us. Sorry, KJ. My uncle uses this. A lot of my family are tradesmen. And my uncle would say, you've got all the gear, but no idea. That's Man United. We've got all the stuff, right? We don't know how to use it. And but the point is, I've been angry about it for years. No point anymore. No point.
Yeah. It's like the whole thing about, if you're accepting this, that means you're lowering your standards. Like, no, bro, I accept the fact that I'm never gonna date Maya Jama. Like, it's never gonna happen. But can I still bag a 10? Or can I still bag an 8? Yes, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
KJ, don't go any lower, KJ.
Yo, Maya Jama, if you hear this.
All right, listen. Listen, I'm
Hey,
getting a 10.
you
Don't worry about
you
that.
can't get a new trim and then go lower than an 8. Impossible, man.
All right, guys, let's not talk about that now.
No, listen, it's for me, as I say, like I understand people's frustrations. I really do. I don't think they're wrong for having them. I just love listening to the argument. So I kind of sometimes enjoy results that stem. Now, I don't want to lose. I can't wish for us to lose, but at the moment, I'm enjoying the fact that we win games and it makes people angrier. It's amazing. But as I say, one of the biggest reasons I want Ollie to go, aside from all the footballing reasons, is if we get a manager that is universally loved. Wow, look who we've got, up and coming superstar. And when it inevitably goes wrong because we're not run well enough, maybe that will be when the penny drops for most people and we can collectively come together to start trying to force things. And I know Saeed actually, I watched his video, wants to try and get like protests and things going, and fair play for him to putting his head above the parapet and wanting to get things done. But fair play to him, but no one's going to give it any support. It'll be like, whatever, I can't be bothered. Because even at Top Reds, there's going to a match, drinking with their friends, breakfast with their friends, drinking with their friends, having a day out with their friends, or going out with their family today, and Man United is the centerpiece of it. That's more important to a lot of people than the club being run well. And that's fine. That's how they consume football, and they should be allowed to sort of do that. But if that's how you consume football and you're not that bothered about actually changing it, hush the moaning, bruv.
Yeah, don't complain about people being upset with Ollie if you're just going to be sitting there like, oh, the Glazers are terrible, but I gotta buy a new shirt for my lass, innit? Like, I need, my little girl wants a new shirt. I need to go. No, fam, tell her to go Argos and get one of those crap shirts with a sticker badge. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop getting into it.
I'm gonna. Next time one of my kids asks one, I'm gonna go to. You get them stalls in London that do souvenirs and they sell the fake football kits.
Yeah, do that.
That's what I'm going to. Do you know what I mean? It says hype, not Nike. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or it has just like Man United actually written in words across the shirt.
Yeah, them ones.
There you go.
The amount of tourists that must go back to whatever country they're from, thinking I've got a Man United kit. No, you didn't, bro. Do you know what I mean? You got a Fruit of the Loom T-shirt with Man United logo.
This happens to every club, guys. Every major league has a shift in power, and you go from the AC Milan and Inter dominating to Juventus dominating. You go from Marseille and Lyon dominating to PSG. Right now, that's what Manchester United is going through. You guys could be back, but you might need an owner change. Or you could possibly fluke a league. You never know.
We could, but so could you. You could fluke a league. You never know, innit? But
that's happening.
Listen. If we can fluke a league, so can they. And listen, we're the same thing.
No.
I don't care about fluking no league, fam. I don't want to fluke it, bro. I want to dominate it. I want to own it. I want to win it every single year. So this fluking thing out the window.
Look, I'm telling you now, you can't fluke a league because even the Leicester season, we found out that they had players that were
quality
players. Three of those
players are Premier League legends. Do you know what I mean? We just didn't know what they were at that point. Do you know?
Yeah, I know. Like Danny Drinkwater, flip me, man. What a player!
He just came out recently and said he's trying to work his way back into the team because his new manager. Yeah,
someone said my theory doesn't work because of Bayern Munich. That's not true, because if you actually look at it, Schalke used to dominate, and now they're about to get relegated. So everything does change in football. You might see Man City fall off again eventually.
They may, hopefully. Can you imagine it? Yeah, when we're old men, we're all screaming in our 90s.
Not anytime soon. No.
Yeah, while we're 60 and they've just fell off. You can see Arsenal in the Championship, Man United scraping relegation. You know what I'm saying?
There'll be a gal be like, "What are you up to this weekend?" The gal, "Oh, I'm going to watch Arsenal versus Donny Rovers. I'm meeting Aaron." That's it. Aaron, gonna be meeting Aaron for some food after. Listen,
guys, I'm having a tough season. Don't make it tougher. My Raptors are trash. They're worse than Arsenal. So let's just not talk about any sports
impossible.
For me. It's possible actually.
I don't know. Is that basketball?
It's the silly game that you don't like.
Yeah, it's funny netball, isn't it? One of them ones. Listen, I'm really messing. Listen, everyone that's tuned in today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. 9 p.m. tonight, Kendall's back with a podcast, so make sure you're tuning in. Big stories being dropped on there tonight, so make sure you're ready for that one. We're back tomorrow with more match reactions. I think there's at least 2 or 3 games on tomorrow. Nicely spread this weekend, actually, rather than it all being condensed, which is great. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all